What key life experiences have formed who you are today?
When I was a kid, I was a musician, a classical musician, and I think that has had a huge impact on how I look at daily practice and learning new things. And then I would also say just all the traveling. I had never traveled abroad until I was in college, and then ever since then, I do it every chance I get. And so the experiences, and I've had the opportunity too to live abroad for months at a time in different countries, and so those have been the most formative experiences, I think, just in life and in architecture.
How did you become passionate and involved in architecture?
So I went to an all boys Catholic high school, and
Hmm.
the girls' school that was next door offered an architecture class. So I signed up for that class. I was one of two guys in the class, and then I had a really good teacher, and she encouraged me, and I got to the point of applying to college and decided that I didn't want to be a musician, and
Hmm.
so I went into architecture off a whim almost, and then yeah, I'm glad I did.
What are your core values and how are they reflected in your practice?
They're mostly intuitive things
Hmm.
that not necessarily feelings, but they're like a sense of the world uh, that I catch glimpses of it here and there when I see certain projects or visit certain buildings or certain cities, that I just think, I want to do work like this, or I want the world to feel this way.
What is your design process?
The way we collaborate in the office, it begins with, I mean, just an understanding of the program, an understanding of the site. We develop drawings, and essentially we develop a book that documents all of the constraints of the site, including the zoning, the program, the desired views, and then we look at case studies, and basically we design the project right off the bat, and then use that initial impulse as the case study, like our version of the case study that we then critique and tear apart and then rework the design.
How do you collaborate with other individuals to realize your impactful work?
The best thing that we can do is, or the most effective thing that I've found, is just in-person meetings and being able to have just free flowing conversation and joke around, and
Hmm.
but then also like spur of the moment, sketch something on the window or something, and just like figure something out together. That's usually the best way to collaborate. um, Otherwise, via email and things like that, it just, you don't get the same sense of immediacy or importance about like what certain parts of the project might be valued in terms of us, and then what the structural engineer might see in it that he doesn't understand, that like a certain thing has to be a certain way.
How has Peter Zumthor's architectural ideas and buildings impacted your architectural practice?
We talk about Zumthor all the time in
Mm.
our practice, and we joke around too, because we'll do things like we'll be designing something or working on something, and we'll say, well, what would Mies do in this situation? And sometimes too we say, what would Zumthor do in this situation? And as a way of just thinking through, like, well, he would treat this joint or this connection this way, or Zumthor would like carve it out of a whole like cave or something like. So we do think about things that way. I mean, we have his collection of like this whole 5 volume works in our office library here, and we reference it from time to time. And so yeah, his model making, his drawing, and then his process, his thought process. We're constantly thinking about stuff like that.
What are the biggest challenges you face?
Time,
Mm.
just having enough time to work.
What advice would you give to a young student?
The thing that's going to make you a good architect, or anybody a good architect, is to be like to leverage their unique skills and personality.